Round 8 team lists. We've got a little bit to talk about here, and the crazy things here is we think we're getting better and better with injury updates and how all that looks, and then you get Fifita and Plath both named, and for Plath it was looking like anywhere between a month and a half and sort of 2 to 3 months there, and Fifita it was like, yep, 4 weeks straight after their game last week, and now he might play this week, so it's pretty wild times. We have a couple little ins and outs, and we'll get through that very, very quickly. Also just realised I have a lot of videos to do today. Got the round results still. It's Tuesday night, and usually that's a Monday afternoon thing with the short week, and then we're on the flight back home Wednesday morning and get back just before the game on Thursday night. So I'll be relying on the boys, Scoop, Nikki, help a brother out with their videos, and my stuff will be a bit shorter this week. I'll be back to watch the games, which will be good stuff come Thursday night. Speaking of Thursday night, we do get the real times, not the Europe times here, and that's the Broncos up against the Doggies. And on the Broncos side, we do see Selwyn Cobbo go to the back. You can definitely look at him, given he has this runway until basically round 12, but they do miss round 12, which is a bit annoying, a bit frustrating if you were looking to jump on Cobbo. We've seen him play there well. We've also seen him play better on the wing. So, yeah, there's not too much to think about with him. I don't think there's other better options in that wing fullback position or centre position there. We do see Dean Mariner come back into the side as well. Payne Haas, really the only guy to keep an eye on in that side, but a good 73 on the weekend. For the Doggies, we do see a few guys that come on the radar, and that's Jacob Kiraz. Decent chance that he does make Origin though as well, so keep that in your thoughts when you are selecting him, but a great buy for his scoring. Matt Burton, another guy in the half position that you can target out now that he's lost a little bit more cash. Scored pretty well on the weekend. Will he get goal kicking back? That'll be the question with Matty. Jacob Preston, I don't think he makes Origin. When you've got guys like Hudson Young that are out there absolutely dominating, you've still got Liam Martin, you've still got Angus Crichton. I don't think they can pick another edge, so he does probably miss out unless there are injuries. So I think you can buy into Preston pretty confidently at the moment. Jack Todd and Walshy are out, so make sure you do so, Walsh. For the Roosters up against the Dragons, we do see a big change here with Nwangani Tawaze coming onto the wing in place of Dom Young, where we thought that was a chance a few weeks ago. There was some chat around it, and it's finally come into fruition with Billy Smith taking his spot that he's had for years in and out of injury back on the left edge. And Mark will move on to the right-hand side with Rob Toya, which I actually like. I think that'll be fun to see that. Sandon and Hugo both in the half still, and with Hugo, he's now still 230k, but with a low break-even, finally, after those two decent scores, taking out some of his earlier ones off the bench. Nwangani Tawaze, I think, is a really fun centre and wing fullback pick with that duel. The problem is, again, how many of these Roosters you do own coming into their round 10 bye. Because I think following that it'll be fine, but it's just that round 10 one you do have to stress about. And if you bought Tedesco last week, expect a nice bounce back from him. If you don't own as yet, it's 2 weeks now until that round 10 bye. If you have a lot of Roosters, probably avoid at this stage and wait until round 11, potentially. I think is a good time. I might be looking to buy in round 11. He's got that lower score in his rolling average now, so he shouldn't make too much cash, and he could potentially have a low score here and lose even more. He could potentially go 80 plus, as we know he can do. Guys like Watson, guys like Wong. Watson's an easy hold this week after that really good score. Wong is getting a little bit more of a worry with the 32 and the 45, but he does feel like he could be the rocks and diamonds type play at the moment. Given he was very consistent the first few, then had the massive score, and now he's had the two lower scores, and we can't really predict what's happening. Hopefully, we've got a big one coming around the corner. I think he's an indefinite hold, and we'll work it out a little bit later. But Savala, a really good cash down. Sandon Smith, you can hold, you can sell to Hugo is potentially an option too, so you don't have, you're not buying another Rooster and gaining one, you're just keeping it the same. And for the Dragon side of things, Sione Finau finally gets his opportunity in the side on that left wing. Tuipulotu, look, you're probably going to get him for 4 weeks max until Christian does come back post their bye. Is that enough at his enough weeks in the side at his price at over 300k plus. I'm not sure, but he's definitely an option that could score well. Gutho, I think I'll have to hold him in Supercoach. Hopefully a decent game against the Roosters there. Couchman, a very clear buy. He's a 750k now. We just saw Terrell May go to 912, and guys, we will get my round results video and talk about my team and everything like that. Sometime on Wednesday there. We'll get this TLT one out quick, short and sharp for you. But yeah, Couchman, he's 162k cheaper than Terrell May, which is wild, and Toby's on that way up as well. Not as good as Terrell, but he's doing a great job. We do see Emery Gula come back onto the bench for Hamish Stewart. So you can probably expect a few less minutes from guys like Couchman. Maybe Cook doesn't play basically the full 80 like he did last week. We'll see how that one plays out. And does Egan play that many minutes? Does he actually start this week? I think he will again. It just looks like they want to keep Luciano in his 11 jersey, I assume is the theory on that one. And did forget to mention for the Roosters, Egan Butcher gets back into this side, which is great news, and hopefully a swift recovery for Fainai there after a tough leg injury. For the Waz, the big one to think about here for your fantasy sides is that of Aaron Clark. Does he come into your calculations as a mid/hooker for round 12? And the big question this week's going to be, with Catewell coming back into the forwards, we see Halasima back to the bench, and we see Afoa, Balmaga, and Jacob Laban, who are all on the bench now. So it's 4 forwards. And does that mean Clark goes back to sort of that 40 odd to 50 minutes, potentially? Is it worth bringing him into your side in his 600k? I think he'll do a solid job. Will he be able to continue with the 50s? We'll have to wait and see. But Chance does come back. Tulpiki goes to the wing. Berry comes back to the centres there in this side. So, yeah, fun little setup. And hopefully we do see Roger very, very soon. It's been a while now, I think. I don't know. A week in fantasy footy feels like a long time. Maybe it was only like 3 or 4 weeks ago that Roger got injured. And he might be back post round 12. Or somewhere around there. Wade Egan still scoring well. Did get a bit of a rest on the weekend, but that's okay. For the Knights, this is the team that, again, similar to round 1, they've got lots of options in their side. Kalen Ponga is getting so cheap. I think he's in the 500s easily for Supercoach right now, which is pretty wild. And this was a fun morning. Got to wake up and have team lists. Got lockout lifted, so it was a bit of an overload of NRL Fantasy and Supercoaches for sure. Ponga's very cheap. Bradman Best still holding strong. Greg Marzu is almost 600k now, but I think you can buy him this week. Fletcher Sharp, also a great buy this week, which we'll talk in more detail in the best buys video. Dylan Lucas returns. How good is that? Most likely he does return. He's he's already travelling over there, which is good fun. And Thomas Cant goes back to the bench there. We'll see if Lucas actually plays. So I think you can wait around if you own Thomas to see if you want to start him or not. And I'm really excited to see Lucas back in the fray, and will definitely be an option for my side over the next bunch of weeks. So I'm going to have to keep that in my thoughts as to where do I want him to sit. In centre, in edge, he's obviously getting a bit more expensive with how well he scored, but I definitely think as a keeper edge that can be put in the centre, he is the best one. And Kaipis Paul, a really good option as well for those that don't have the cash for Lucas and just want to lock him in without that hammy risk and all that type of stuff there. And there was worries about Phoenix Crossland, but he looks like he's all good to go. All right, Storm and the Bunnies there. Alrighty, so for them, we see Nick Meaney does return, and that's a slight worry on Pappenhausen with goals. I wonder if Pappy does keep it though, with Meaney coming back from injury. This happened with Pap all those a couple of years ago when he come back from injury. They're like, nah, Nick's just gonna keep that, and that might be the same with Pap this week. Keep Jerome Hughes in your thoughts, guys. He is losing money hand over fist, and he'll definitely be an option, whether it's in the next couple of weeks or whether it is in round 13. Stefano, not too much to say on him as yet. We get Bronson Garlic for a bunch of weeks. He could do a job, but again, you don't get him for round 12 with the Storm having a bye, so that makes it tough. Eli Katoa, low one last week. I think you can wait a little bit now and buy him round 13 if he gets that fair bit cheaper. On the Bunny side, we do see Latrell back to fullback with Jai Gray go to 14, which is good for Latrell, not good for Jai Gray owners. It looks like that'll be set now, and I wonder how many minutes Jai's going to get. I really hope he gets on there for some good time, and they work out where they can play him in a really nice attacking area. Sullivan comes back into 7 with Cody Walker, with no sign of Dodd, sadly, for them, in the 19 jersey. And Bentley Hape comes back in the side for anyone who did buy him a while ago. White and Graham Tass. It looks more like a settled side for them with the Trell at 1 rather than playing at 6. Mamazellus, a really nice easy hold. They've got Ewan Aiken back into the edge as well, which is good for him. With Hubner being out, Jai Arrow goes to 13 in this game. So I think it's going to be a fun game. Can and will the Storm bounce back after being up 16-2 or whatever it was to lose and have 40 put on them? They will be out for blood in this game. So a little bit worried for the Souths, and I wouldn't be buying any attacking players from their team this week. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And Howarth is out. If you do own Howarth, please do sell, unfortunately, with Meany coming back. For the Cowboys up against the Titans, as I said, with the Titans there, we saw Fifita named at 14. I don't think this affects Bo, for those who are worried about that. Randall will go back to the bench if Fifita does start. Or if he does come off the bench, it will be for Chris Randall, with Cleese Haas actually out of the side, guys. So if you're a Fermor owner or looking to potentially buy him, you don't have to worry about him moving or getting less minutes at the edge. The more of the worry is that guys like AKP are back on the wing. You've got Kelly, Sami, Fifita, plenty of guys there now that should be able to cover when Fermor goes. If an injury happens, you got Tony Francis, Fitzgibbon, who can come in and at least take one of those spots before both Fermor moves back. Tino doing good work. Brimson you're holding. Yeah, no Campbell. You need to move him on, unfortunately. That was very sad time moving him on last week. For the Cowboys, we've got Jackson Purdue absolutely flying. We've got Scott Drinkwater coming into as being an option as well. Whether it's this week, next bunch of weeks, origin period, you can decide with Drinkwater. He's always a very clear option through this time. So yeah, Purdue is more of a this week only, and I kind of wish I did just buy him last week instead of Katonga and take the 41 from Toya, but we live and we learn, as we always do. But they're the only two guys you should look at, with Robson and Cotter firming for origin. Bateman does return as well, which is good for him. Yeah, that's all in that game. Panthers and the Eagles. For the Panthers side of things, Edwards had an incredible game. Could definitely keep doing it, but if he plays like that over the next few weeks, he misses 11, he'll miss 12 with origin as well. So that's a tough one about buying Edwards. It would be a 3-week play, most likely. Jenkins still outside, Casey McLean, which is frustrating, and he can be a sell. If you're looking to just improve in wing fullback in general, then and not hold these type of cheaper guys all the way through until 12, then now is a really solid time to sell him. There is a chance next week that he goes back to playing centre and Brian To'o comes back on the wing, and that would be better. But yeah, it's still not an ideal situation. Having him outside McLean, and how if it was banging those 40s and 50s that we saw a bunch of weeks ago, then sweet. But it's just not looking anywhere near likely, unfortunately. Tungo does come back into the centres there. Cleary, if you don't own him, you probably have to. I don't even know. It's probably like it's a 3-week play as well. 8, 9, 10. He's just, he can be the best scorer. And we saw that 93 without a try assist or a try on the weekend was wild. Isaiah Yeo, if you don't own now, just leave him. More for the fact that, you could buy Cleary over Yeo just because of the upside that he does possess. Summerton back into the 9 jersey with Kenny out, but not of note there. And Jack Cole just, keeping out of this side. For the Manly boys, Trebojevic and Sipley both out. Head knock and suspension. And then for the Eagles there, Garrick still an option, but probably not this week. I think after the low score, just keep an eye out on him. over the next few and see what price he is there. Turbo does return, which is good fun, good to see. Jazz Tavanga plays 13. He should score well again, but likely only the 1 week. And then Jake Simpkin comes into 9 and should do pretty well as well with, still no sign of their Lockie Croker. I was like, what's his name? Of their hooker Lockie Croker, unfortunately. Just keeps getting injured, the poor fella. So yeah, that's it on the Manly boys. There's not a lot of fantasy relevant options. Lehigh Hopewadi goes back to the wing. And Ola Kawatu is struggling at the moment. So I think you can hold, but yeah, that's that. Raiders Dolphins. For the Raiders there, Tamale, very easy hold this week. Fogarty is still a bye. Timoko and Savage, hopefully a bounce back game from them. Horsburgh averaging 54, clear hold. Matty Nicholson, if he keeps playing 80, sweet. If he doesn't, then I think I might sell over the next few weeks. But until then, he's not in my sell calculations because he could easily come out and score a try. He's also up against Tom Gilbert, who was the missed tackle queen, but the last few weeks hasn't been as bad, even in lesser minutes. Tom Starling, I think he can still hold. Tarpany, do you buy this week? Potentially, but we do have to worry about minutes with someone like him, and they'll shake out over the next few weeks. And Huddy Young, do you want to buy knowing that he's probably a good chance of making Origin as well? It's a very relevant side there. For the Dolphins, Herbie Farnworth is the guy that everyone's thinking about, and then Isaiah Gatoa. They're the two that you should be thinking of as buys for the buy period. They are playing really well, doing great stuff, so have a look at those two. And then Maxi Plath getting named is hilarious after, the fears that he'd be out for ages. Hopefully that is the case, that he's actually okay, and at worst a 1 week out. And if that is the case, you do hold on, because he will go back to 13 once Jerry Marshall King does return. Probably next week, it looks like, with the just healing his infection. Tigers Sharks to finish things off for round 8, and Dewey moves back to centres, which is pretty crazy how that one worked out with Galvin, just the 1 week thing in the end. So if you did buy Dewey, thank goodness it was a 38 and not a 16. I was looking back and I'm like, well, if I was thinking of selling Katonga anyway, I could just bought Dewey for his 38 in the centres instead. And then, if you have to sell him anyway, you don't have to this week, but I think you can easily move him on with Latu Fainu coming back soon as well. Anyway, hoping you saw the Latu news before you did make that trade for Dewey anyway. But I do know a lot of people did buy him, and it's a big decision this week. But Galvin returns and hopefully improves this side. We'll see how they go. Terrell May, I think I'm just going to keep captaining him. He's an absolute jet. He'll get plenty of work through the middle in this clash as well with their forwards. A bunch of their really good forwards going through the centre there. Seyfarth can hold or sell, similar to last week. And Jerome Luai, we mentioned last week, not anymore with Galvin back in the side. And then for the Sharkies, you see Hiroti get another week. Still with Kale Iro, not named on the extended or anything this week, so definitely 1 more week. Well done if you got a good score out of him in Supercoach or in Fantasy as well. Nico Hines could definitely still buy. He's, priced in the 53, 54 range now, averaging about that. So really solid guy to look at. Adam Fanor-Blake, I think wait 1 more week and see how that one plays out. And Toby Rudolph's out this week along with Luke Lalili. So that's it, guys. That's the team list for your Tuesday night here. I'll get my round results video out for you guys tomorrow and also my best buys and everything following that. A very, very shortened week this week. We'll get it all out as much as we can. And you'll also hear from Scoop and also from Nikki over the next couple of days. So thanks for that, guys. Hope you get your team sorted quick, smart. Enjoy the short turnaround, and we'll get back into footy very, very quickly.